Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the stock market update video. And today we'll be doing commodities as well as the stock market overall, QQQ, Sp500. So we'll be looking at natural gas, UNG, boil cold, and gold itself, and silver, as well as QQQ and the Sp500. And I'm going to be looking at also the 7 mega cap tech stocks together. We're going to put it all together. So Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta. So we'll be looking at all of them because I am going to France tomorrow. And so I won't be here tomorrow. So I'm going to just do all of them together for you guys today. So it's going to be a long video. And if you guys want to skip to any of your tickers or symbols, just go to the timestamps below and click that ticker with the timestamp. It'll jump right away to that timestamp where you can watch the whole thing and learn technicals as you go along the way. So we'll be looking at price actions as well as support and resistance levels and what's the most likely scenario where the stock is going to be heading into going into tomorrow and Friday. So let's start off with natural gas. So natural gas, we talked about this where on Thursday that the most likely scenario is going to be a bull break. When we were talking about, actually I talked about it on Wednesday. So the most likely scenario is going to be a bull break, and we got that the day after because of how because there's a couple of things showing up here: bear break, lacking follow through, as well as rebounds off of a 50% retracement from the Fibonacci, and as well as the bottom of this wedge. So now we're out of this wedge, but now we're retesting it again. So it's gonna, when it used to act as resistance over here, you can see how many times it's acting as resistance. 5 times here, it's gonna act as support when we touch that. So far, it's acting as support, but it's not doing its job that much. You can see if we zoom into the time frame, bulls did play defense, but it's not a lot of offense going on. We pretty much closed just slightly above it. So I want to see a more of a bounce than just this mini bounce off of that. I want to see an hourly trend change back to the bulls. So the very first step when trend changes and is the hourly. Obviously, it can change on the 5 minutes, on the 15 minutes. That's this time frame is too small unless you're day trading or scalping. Those would be a better time frame. So we have a 2% bounce here on the hourly. So this should give enough room for the bulls to try to hold this level and break above, and this 2.676 high, that would give us a hourly trend change back to the bulls. And then we can say this wedge support held. But at the moment, bears can still take this down because of the size of this drop. This bounce is an hourly bear flag. So that is still favoring the bears at the moment. Measure that from the top to the bottom, and pretty much a bear flag because we're within this 38.2 line. Right there, we did slightly get over it, but I wouldn't call that a negating the bear flag because of how upper wick and a rejection from the 12 EMA, that teal looking line at the same time. So this would still be a bear flag for me on the hourly chart. So if that confirms an hourly bear flag breaking this low, as well as breaking through this falling wedges upper support, that's going to be a red flag for me on natural gas because we will be coming back. If we do break that level, I'll be breaking this today's low, and it'll be coming back into this wedge after breaking out of it. So that'll be a bull break lacking follow through. That means when there's a one side that's lacking follow through, see all these wicks, most likely scenario would be going to the other side because stocks likes to go to the least resistance path, right? Just like anything in life, most least resistant path would be the most easily flow through, just like water. So same thing with this. So if there is no more buyers and the least resistant path is sellers, of course, we're going to be heading down this way. And if we do break in here, it's not going to be end of the world. We need to hold this 2.53 and level because that was a strong level of support over here. You can see all these supports back here as well and back here as well. So we come down to this 2.53 and we don't bounce and we break through that, then it's going to be a pretty big red flag and starting because of the structures we have built over here. Was this weekly structure where you can see how long we have continuing the weekly uptrend here. So this was the first time we confirmed weekly uptrend over here, right when we broke above this prior high. And the weekly uptrend is continuing. And now we have a weekly trend where if this comes back and breaks this week's low, that would be 2.484, then the weekly uptrend is negated. It'll become a weekly neutral trend. So that would be a red flag. Actually, that would be a weekly downtrend because last week's candle over here is above the prior week's candle. So this is one initial move. This is the bounce. So that's setting the pivot. So if this week's low closed below, or even the next week's low goes below prior week's low right there, 2.484, that's a weekly downtrend confirming. So that'll be a big win for the bears if they can confirm a weekly downtrend, because monthly is still in favor of the bears, because we've been talking about this monthly bear flag, right? So if monthly is still in the bear flag, I'll just do it real quick for you guys, for those of you who are new. So we do this from the top of the move, the bottom of the move. This is A, and this is the bottom of the move B. So this mini bounce is still not above anywhere near 0.382. That's a bear flag at the moment still. You can see, even though we have a huge bounce, 43% is still not above that 0.382 yet. We are 100% from that place, from the low. From where we are today, we are roughly 52% to that zone. So if we have a monthly bear flag hipping up, I mean, still there, and the bears confirm a weekly downtrend back to their favor, then that's a bad luck for the bulls, because right now we have a weekly uptrend, so that's favoring the bulls, and the daily is currently in a neutral trend, because there was a daily downtrend here confirmed, and then this is one straight move where we negate that downtrend because we broke above the prior pivot. So that's a new daily neutral trend now, and this move, we need to break above this prior high right there. That's 2.789 high for us, for the bulls, to take back the daily uptrend. So that is what I want to see from the bulls, gaining back daily uptrend. So we can have weekly and daily in favor of the bulls, while the bulls try to negate that monthly bear flag, but that would take a lot of months. So we just have to keep that in the back of our head while we look at the daily and weekly charts. So, yep. So before bulls, break that 2.789, get that daily uptrend, and then breaking these resistance, we'll be heading to $3 if we can break these two. For bears, break back below this wedge, and you're starting to give that feel where it's a lack of follow through. And if you break this low right there, 2.484, bears would have a big win, confirming the weekly downtrend. So, and that means all the trends would be in favoring the bears again. We this little pivot right here breaks. Right. I got for you guys on natural gas. Take a look at UNG. UNG is very similar, follows natural gas. So break above here on that day, Thursday. So far, lacking some follow through here. Just going sideways. Just waiting for nat gas to decide which way it wants to break. And we have a trend. This was a daily uptrend right here on that Tuesday's break above this high, and lacking follow through. So it came back down here. So very similar, lacking follow through here as well on the bull break, and meaning one side lacking follow through. Most likely scenario is going to the other side. So far still holding. So not a lot of red flags yet. And the hourly trend is currently very choppy, but let's see. Yeah, not a lot of clarity on the hourly trend. So as long as this don't break today's low, then it's in a neutral hour. So bulls want to hold today's low. For days of break today's low, that's the hourly downtrend confirming. That for the bears as well, if it confirms that. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. And Boyle is 2x leverage for UNG. So Boyle would be up twice as that. Let's take a look on Tuesday. So Tuesday is up 2.87, meaning UNG is half of that. So UNG up 1.38 times up at 2 is what we'll be up at. And KOLD is the opposite because KOLD is the short side for 2x leverage. So don't chart these leverage ETFs. Chart UNG while you play BOIL and KOLD, because if UNG breaks support, BOIL and KOLD also will be broken support regardless of what the price is at. All right, let's take a look at gold. Gold bull break today. We broke out this falling wedge here. We're looking at this falling wedge for months. Bull break here was helped by the dollar because dollar was dropping. It's inverse correlation with the dollar. And you can see today had FOMC meeting with raising rates for 25 basis points, and the dollar dropped. So it also helped today's move with gold. And we'll see if the dollar will continue to drop. Dollar is right now in a bear flag. Nope, it's not a bear flag because just from looking at it, it's definitely bounced over 0.382. Let's take a look, see if it does or not. Yep, it hit the 50% mark, but without, even if you negate the bear flag at 0.382, if you don't get over 50%, it will still favor the bears on the next drop. Unless this bounce goes over 50, it will start favoring the bulls for the next move, potential trend change back to the upside. So, yeah, so after today's rate hike, so far it's a bearish reaction. So gold is good. Yeah, I want to see gold break above this high, this Thursday's high. It would be 1987. That would be a continuation of the daily uptrend right here. That was a confirmed daily uptrend right here. And this drop, this pivot right here is still above the prior pivot. So the daily uptrend is still there intact. So as long as we break above this 1982, it'll just continue. It's a good sign for the bulls. And hourly trend is in favor of bulls in short term as well. So yeah, so the most likely scenario is that we're going to test this high again. Or at this level as here, see if we can break that. Not confirm, and then it goes lower here, breaks this pivot. That's a daily downtrend confirm. So far, no signs of that yet because hourly is still in favor of the bulls. So if hourly doesn't change to the bears, we won't be seeing that daily downtrend confirming. All right, silver, same thing. Silver and gold trade is pretty similar together, and we also have that dollar weakness, and we have strength on the metals. So very similar chart, and this is a daily uptrend here confirming already, and it's just continuing. You can call this a pivot, and this broke below the pivot. You can see it's right now in a neutral trend, but we can call this double bottom. It's up to you, but the trend is still in favoring of the bulls, and we're going to be testing the same area as well for gold and silver, that triple double top looking area. So we'll see if dollar continues to be weak and this continue to bounce. Make sure take a look when dollar hits level again, this 99.6 zone or $100 psychological level, if it's going to bounce or not. If it's going to bounce here, you might want to take profit on your gold and silver if you're just a short-term trader or a scalper. But if you're a long-term holder, that's up to you. We're not going to just trade a long-term stock based on such a short-term bounce here, because it's likely going to have a small bounce and then it'll decide to see whichever you want to go after that. The most likely scenario is at least a small bounce over here. Make sure you guys are on top of that. All right, so now let's take a look at the stock market. So be looking at QQQ, SPY, and all the mega cap 7 tech stocks, because so we're all right. Start with QQQ. So QQQ today is a indecision candle, pretty much closed right in the middle of the upside and the downside. So we'll see. It was favoring the bulls over here on yesterday's bounce, and the thing that made me a little bit cautious was we didn't get over this 50% mark or even tested it. We're still under the 0.382 mark, so this could potentially be a daily bear flag. And we also closed under this 380 level when we went over it a couple times here. That was a little bit of a red flag for me. And after hours, we had Microsoft and Google's earnings yesterday. Microsoft took the market down, Google took the market up. And so they pretty much canceled each other out. And even though Microsoft weighting is a little bit higher, and today we just have a chop zone for the whole day here, within this here and this zone. And we had Meta earning after hours here, and it's still dropping. Meta is just very whippy, so we'll see what Meta's earnings call will give us direction at the end. And pretty much during the FOMC, the reason, so we're going to do a trade review real quick. The reason we don't want to go bull here during that initial reaction here, is because we never changed the 5-minute trend. You can see this drop, this bounce was supposed to favor the bulls on a 5-minute bull flag to change the trend to break up the prior high, and we just never did. And you can see on the 2 minutes, it kind of fades and then fades. This was supposed to be the one that we can break above, and it didn't. Then bears took over here. Then we hit the double bottom from the morning here, and then we bounced. So pretty much an indecision day, and tomorrow will give us some more clarity on exactly where QQQ will be after everyone digests the news and Jerome's speech and during Q&A as well. So people will be trading based on after they digest all the information. So tomorrow is going to be more of a real price action going on. And right now it's going to be super key this week, because if QQQ breaks Monday's low right there, and that's 374.34, we are confirming a daily downtrend for the very first time since forever. Let's see here. And you can call this a small daily downtrend here. This candle was slightly above this one, so that's a daily downtrend confirming right there. Very slight one. That would be, let's just say, call this one April 25th. So we haven't had a daily downtrend in 2 months. And the last notable one would be this one here, where this was the initial move. This is the bounce, where the pivot high. And this was a break right there. And you can see that was a break lacking follow through, because right when we broke it there, next day, it was bounced back above it. We'll see if we can confirm a actual daily downtrend. We have this move and then down over here. If that Monday is low or not. If the bears cannot do that after the significant drop, then the bulls are going to take it back over. We're going to be testing 52 high again. And I know I talk about where we just want to follow the trend, but once we get to some key resistant areas, we don't want to be just buying, blindly buying anymore. Like this is good buying here, right? This is another pivot high. It's good buying here, another good buying here. And I've been talking about this for months. As long as the monthly, weekly, daily, hourly trend is in favor of the bulls, we don't want to be shorting the market just because the macro news is telling us to short it. Even though it does seem like all the macro news is bearish, but we just want to look at the price action, because price action is king. And regardless of whatever news, whatever indicator, anything, price action is the most fundamental. And it's because all the news, all the emotions, everything is priced in, making the buyer or the seller press that button, and those buttons creates the charts. And that's why we want to focus on the most fundamental part of the chart, which is price action. And we'll see if this is going to be a super key battle zone. And if the bears can break down Monday's low, we're going to have a daily downtrend in a very long time. And I have not seen all sectors. So all sectors meaning, for example, SPY, which has the financial sector, the XLF, XLV, XLC, XRT, so all the retail, energy, every sector, meaning, so when we see all sectors dropping to the low of the day, that would mean the VIX would be spiking. So we haven't seen that in, I have to say, probably 3 to 4 months. I haven't remembered seeing all sectors dropping to the low of this day. Even when we had these notable selling days right here, these past couple of days, money was rotating around the market, meaning there was no fear in the market. If money is rotating around, it's still okay in the markets. Even back here, I remember there's still money rotating around the market. Some sectors were green, even though QQQ was weaker those days. So when we had these drops back here, these drops, that was every single sector being red. You can see when that spiked the VIX. But at the moment, we don't have that yet, any of that yet. But that's what, even though I do say follow the trend, but we want to be cautious up here, because it's starting to shape up a little bit of some red flags up here. and you don't want to be just blindly adding. Even though probably next year, when we're talking about it here again, QQQ is probably going to be in all-time highs. But just to be honest here, it's probably going to be breaking all-time highs next year, July. So even if you're just a long-term investor and you add it here, hey, can you stomach the downside? You know, we have the next 3 months where it's seasonality is a little bit weaker into October, and then you stomach the downside, maybe like a 7% drop, and we kind of chop around, bounce around here, rally into the end of the year. You may be back up here again, right? It's up to you as a long-term investor, but charts. And tomorrow it's going to be a very key battle zone between tomorrow and Friday, of course. Let's say we don't break it tomorrow. We're going to be very key battle zone for here. It's that daily downtrend and some mega cap tech stocks. The very first one that confirmed it, the daily downtrend, is Microsoft. So if more of the mega caps follow, then we will see this daily downtrend confirm on QQQ. But as of now, it's only Microsoft. So that won't be that big of a deal. If let's say all 6 of them, right? Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, all of them don't confirm the daily downtrend and it's holding up while Microsoft is confirming a daily downtrend, Microsoft is going to bounce because Microsoft is not going to be just dropping like a rock while the other 6 is going to be going up, right? So we'll be taking a look at that in a second. And so let's take a look at SPY now. SPY, I talked about this on Monday, where this is a daily bull flag because while QQQ was dropping, all these sectors in SPY was pretty much green. And that's why money is rotating around the market. So there's no fear. But we have I wouldn't call this a red flag, but you just got to be cautious where there is a triple top here, where every time we get to this price level, there's some selling. And that could potentially shape up more weakness. As of now, no signs of any weakness on SPY yet. Now we don't even have an hourly downtrend. So we had a mini hourly downtrend here, but it's not that big of a deal. Up, we'll see if tomorrow we can just break above that with one like a 0.5% candle. So that's what I'm saying. It's no big deal on SPY at the moment. Chart is very strong, not like QQQ where it's a lot weaker, right? You can see this kind of move is already starting to shape up a daily downtrend. But on SPY, still very, very strong. Let's say tomorrow or Friday we get all sectors drop the low of the day, then it will probably break this pivot, this daily pivot right there. So if we break that pivot, the uptrend of daily chart will become neutral trend. So then that would be starting shaping up some red flags, right? And QQ would be confirming a daily downtrend, while SPY becoming a neutral trend. And that would start to be a little bit red flag there for me. But as of now, we don't have any signs of that yet. So we don't want to be predicting, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But we just want to know the most highly probable scenario that's going to happen in the next coming days. And be cautious of that. Nvidia. Nvidia, it's similar to QQQ because it, of course, trades similar because it's tech. But so if we do break this Monday's low, that's a daily downtrend confirmed for the very first time for Nvidia since any of us can remember. I don't even know when was the last time Nvidia confirmed a daily downtrend. Let's see. Well, we have one here. So that'll be last year, December. Other than that, I don't really see Nvidia having clear daily downtrend. So if we do confirm a daily downtrend here, then obviously it's notable, especially we haven't confirmed one in 7 months. And so far the bulls held it. The bulls held about that 450. And see, we came down here, bounced, and yeah. So the most key zone for me would be Tuesday's high. So if we break above that 460 zone, we're probably going to test this all-time high structure again. But if we do break below this, break below Monday's low, which is 440, then that's a daily downtrend confirmed. And we're probably going to fill this gap and test this 437 zone. This is the chop zone of the prior zone. We'll see if Nvidia can hold up tomorrow or not. Let's take a look at the hourly. Hourly is very choppy. No clear direction. And a cleared hourly downtrend here, but it's negated now. So neutral, but very choppy here. So we'll see which way it wants, this equilibrium wants to break very soon tomorrow. Tesla, let's see. Tesla is shaping up that daily downtrend almost as well. You see this huge drop favoring the bears on the next bounce. Remember how I always talk about the size of the drop or the size of the bounce? It's going to determine the next move. So the size of that drop is going to favor the bears. That's why when we had this bounce on Tuesday, we had a red day, even though QQQ was green, because of this relatively weakness. And if we do break Monday's low, also going to shape up a daily downtrend. So you can see all these mega cap tech stocks are on the verge of shaping a daily downtrend, but the bulls can just negate it in one day. If tomorrow we get a decent green day, right? This would be a daily uptrend if we break above this 272.9 tomorrow. This candle's high. That'd be a daily uptrend. So that we only need here. We need roughly, that's not how much we need. We need roughly a 3.5% move. Then we'll have to be able to negate the downtrend and be back into a daily uptrend. So that is why we gotta be a little bit ninja here, because up 3.5%, back to a daily uptrend, down 3.5%. We're in a daily downtrend. So this week is very key because of all the structures. It's at its pivot point versus when we have a easy uptrend going. There is not a lot of like an easy uptrend. There's not a lot of pivot points. We just continue to buy the dip, and now we're at a point where they can potentially shape up a daily downtrend. So we gotta be cautious. Apple, strongest of all the charts, and very similar to SPY, where it's like there's forming some wicks, upper wicks on all this price levels, but it can just be, people accumulating, and next thing you know, QQQ makes a new all-time high. This thing will also make an all-time high, right? So we don't want to be expecting to try to nail the top, short it like a stock like this, where it's doesn't really go down, it's at all, and we don't have a lot of fear that we don't know of yet in the future, right? When it dropped back here, we were just starting to hike rates, and there's a lot of uncertainty that we don't know what's exactly going to happen, right? Now we have a pretty clear path, and so we don't want to be predicting. Obviously, a pullback would be healthy for the chart like this. Even if we pull back to 182, that's 5%. The chart would still be very healthy, and it's probably going to get accumulated into the end of the year for the end of the year run, if nothing crazy happens at the end of the year, of course. But so as of now, no signs of weakness on Apple, absolutely zero. Even the hourly trend is in favor of a bulls on the uptrend. So as long as I keep saying for Apple, daily EMA 12 doesn't break, and the 2-day EMA 12 doesn't break, Apple is not going anywhere. So as long as the Apple holds, right? If you have Apple up like 5% or it doesn't drop at all, green, and Amazon green, and QQQ was slightly red, SPY's green, right? That's not a lot of fear in the market, right? You're not gonna have some bearish waterfall candle forming up because these strong names are still green, and sectors like SPY are still green. So we'll see if we get that all major sectors dropping, bears or not. So that daily downtrend is going to be key. Let's see if we form that up. Amazon is very weak. It's one of the weakest, and it still hasn't formed its daily downtrend. This is just one straight move. So we need a pivot point at the moment. Still not shaping up yet. It's just one strong selling move, and we pretty much just tested this candle's low right here, and this would be 125.92. Bounced pretty decently. It makes sense. We have been selling off for quite a while, so that's a 7% drop in just 5 days. So a bounce was expected, especially when we hit these prior supports. And this was a triple bottom right here, very clear. 1, 2, 3. So that's a very clear support. They bounced, no fake outs there, which was the same support back here. So, but bulls did play defense, but there's no offense going on. You can see we rejected also here a quadruple top on that this 128 level right here, 28, 29. So that's a quadruple top. versus a triple bottom. So not a lot of offense from bulls at the moment, although they did play defense. So what I want to see is us breaking above this quadruple top tomorrow, because you see how many volume we could trade it sideways here, right? That's going to act as strong resistance, and which we did break in the after hours because of Meta's earnings, but we just quickly sold out back off. And tomorrow's market open is going to be more key for me in terms of not these after hours. Cash open would be more important for me. Let's see here. Yep. Other than that, still one straight move down. Google was the weakest until its earnings report. You can see it was starting to shape up a daily down here, and it negated it. So now we're just looking at pretty much all-time highs. Sorry, not all-time highs, 52-week highs. I talked about this yesterday, where this is going to act as the resistance, 131 to 133, which it did in during after hours here on the earnings. So we couldn't get over that and just went straight sideways. And we're probably just going to break tomorrow because this sideways is getting real tight. And after Meta's earnings call, whichever direction Meta's earnings call goes, is probably going to decide which way Google sideways break as well. But it's holding its prior 52-week high. Good sign for the bulls, because if we zoom out back, see right here, this was the prior 52 high, right? It's holding exactly that level. So as long as the bulls can hold above that level, then we're likely going to come back up to test this 133 and 131 zone. If we break below that, then we're probably going to come to 126. Because 126 is that zone where there's tons of resistance prior here, where we tested so many times. This was just a little support here. But if we do come down to this 126, that is what I think would happen. And then we bounce here, the bulls would likely be adding on that bounce. If we do retest and bounce, if we retest, bounce, and then break through that, that'd be a huge red flag. So we'll see. So if you're a bull, we retest, bounce, and then you added, and you're a short-term trader, I would put my stop loss under here. And if it breaks through that, that's a huge red flag. See what happens tomorrow once this range breaks. Microsoft, first one to confirm daily downtrend. And I can show you guys here. So when I talked about the size of the move, the size of this drop was a red flag because of its AI news. We give it all back. And then this is the initial drop. Now we form the pivot on this bounce. And then we break this low right there. So that is a daily downtrend confirming. Although we did held above 335. So 2 minutes. So we did hold about 335. That is a good sign. And we'll see, because this 335 is the prior zone of this high. So as long as the bulls can hold above that, they have a chance to bounce here. All right, let's take a look at Meta. So Meta has its earnings, and so far it's bullish, but it sold off half of its gains. So we don't know which way it's going to go until its earnings call is finished, because earnings call usually dictate which direction with the guidance and everything, and especially with these, just like Microsoft was green until its guidance went down 4%, right? And 300 is the level I'm going to be looking at for support, and 52 high is going to be where I'm looking for resistance. We'll see tomorrow where Meta goes. All right, that's all I got for you guys, and I'll see you guys maybe Friday if I'm free, but I'll be in France. So have a great rest of you guys' week, and I'll see you guys around. Take care. Bye.